Waiting. Okay, now starting.
Yep. Okay, go ahead.
Start with.
Okay, so deep culture discussion today. We're looking at um, deep culture. What is culture? We have one question for this assignment. What is deep culture, and how is the concept different from definitions of culture that are too broad and simplistic? So, because we only have one question and we only have one assigned reading, well, in the textbook, Management of Grief, we just for our discussion, we're just going to talk for a couple minutes about our own experience with deep culture and our own view about it. So maybe we can start with you, Jasmine. What do you about it?
Or explain
What do I think about like deep culture? I think
Deep culture. Yep. Definition,
I like.
concept.
Yeah, I like how they explain it in like other readings, like the other articles that we read. Um, like they said how culture is not really like um, I don't know. It's wait, no, that's from a movie. I watched Thor this weekend, and in Thor they said the culture. Didn't they say like culture wasn't a place, it was a people? So I really like how that was like, yeah, how that was said. Like it's in the people, and then my culture is like Chinese, so it was really cool to read like those stories today. Deep culture, the difference between deep culture and culture. I think deep culture is like actually how you live it, and culture is kind of like the general basis. But then once you go deeper, it's like why they do the things they do in their culture. It's like to celebrate something or to like why they celebrate certain things, why they have certain dress, or like, yeah, I think that's really cool. And that's kind of like the difference between just the general broad term of culture and then, yeah, I just think it's really cool how we can go deeper into why cultures do things that they do for certain reasons.
Awesome. What do you think about it?
Oh yeah, so for me, I think about culture is defined as like your um, own heritage and deep culture from what I know when reading this text. I think of my country. Like if you guys as foreigners come to Tonga, you'll see people that are working in the government wearing something on their waist that is known as ta'avala. So when we see like deep culture is like something that is unnoticed that sometimes we don't really realize and really focused on, but they are really there. So it's like when foreigners look at a Tongan wearing ta'avala, it shows that that person works first. What comes to mind is that that person works in the government. Second to it, she must be Tongan, and third is shows respect. So if there's a worker is working in the government without Tavala, then that person is so disrespectful and that against the culture. So it's like more deepened. So Ini, what do you think?
That's true.
Share
Add on.
Add on personal
your own
experience.
experience.
Oh my goodness.
So I think just to add on about the Tongan culture is how the girls, for us in the Tongan culture is like the girls are not allowed to go outside until they're dating outside. It doesn't matter where it is, but they have to bring the boyfriend inside the house. So all the time they wanted to do like a dating, or the boyfriend wanted like to date. So they have to come to the girl's house and do their dating there. We will like also need to sit there and watching them of what they're talking about. So I guess, but we still keep continuing with that kind of cultures. Like I see it in my village and how like my families, the parents of the boyfriend will always they come and ask for permissions for the girl's parents if they can agree with that or not. So that's one thing.
Will's turn.
Okay, yeah. So let's see
Oh,
where's the question? Sorry.
What is the deep culture?
Yep. Okay, so for me, what is deep culture? I like your definition. How you said deep culture. Yeah, it's what your actions or whatever you said. So culture. Someone else said how it's specifically a place, but it's the people where you're surrounded by. I think deep culture are things that are ingrained into you that you learn growing up. And the reading management, what is it? Management of grief or whatever. The reading that we had about the Indians, how the plane crashed and all those Indian people died, and then the social worker goes to find Shyla because she feels like she can connect social workers to the Indian community. The social worker said that Shyla had a better touch or a magic touch with her people. I think deep culture is something. It's something hard to explain. You can't really explain exactly what deep culture is, but it's something that you learn and it's ingrained to you as a kid. Certain practices that you do, different cultural aspects or rituals that you have as a culture, as a community is deep culture. And I would say it's different from definitions of culture that are too broad and simplistic, because culture, I guess there's different types of culture. Hip hop culture, you have surfing culture, you have all these different broad cultures, but a deep culture it goes further than that, and I feel like it's beliefs, ideas that are ingrained to people. They learn it without really learning it, if that makes sense. They learn it on their interactions with people. They learn it things, but yeah, deep culture, I would say in New Zealand context, something that I guess we're not taught culture in school. We're not really taught it in the home. It's something you just
Everyday life.
yeah, it's just kind of something you pick up in everyday life in your interactions with people. You kind of learn how to behave in certain ways. You learn what's appropriate. And then when you go to a new country, sometimes you feel out of place. Like when on my mission, I went to Micronesia, and it was a totally different culture. So I went about learning their culture. I didn't ask people about what their culture was, but I just observed, I watched, I listened. And I think that's what deep culture really is it's not something you really teach. It's something you observe and you just learn gradually.
It's like when you're looking at a white wedding dress, what comes to mind is, and the person is the bride, like something that you already understand.
Yeah. It's kind of hard to explain your culture. Like, I wouldn't know how to kind of explain like American culture until I went to like a different country and saw like the difference. So if I never like went and like visited like China, I would have never known like anything like that's different here. But you guys, like, you're from like, New Zealand and Tonga, and like you come to America and you like see the differences. Like, it's hard to explain. I don't really know how to explain like American culture unless like we compare like two really specific things. But you never really know how to explain it until you go somewhere different.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
No, I think that's it.
Alrighty. Well, I will stop this broadcast. Bye, guys.
Bye.